I wouldn't say the time is ripe for communist revolution. I would say simply that we are approaching a certain 0 point. Now, I'm not a 2012 lover. I'm not saying that some Mayan prophecies are saying 2 years from now it will be the end of the world. I'm just saying that in 3-4 domains which are for me crucial, again, things are approaching a certain point. I think the message of all these catastrophes at the beginning of the new millennium, from September 11 to the ongoing financial crisis, is that no, this formula will not work. No one asks the big questions. Is democracy the way we know it here to stay? Is capitalism the way we know it here to stay? All we dream about is how to make system, more human, more efficient, more tolerance, whatever you want. This is my very modest pessimism. I don't have solutions. I'm definitely not preaching new Leninism. All signs are pointing towards the fact that this welfare state dream is coming to an end. That is to say, we were all glad, communism is over. I mean, that oppressive Stalinist one, 1990. But I think now, with 20 years delay, we are discovering that social democratic welfare state is also over. This is why I obsessively follow the career of Berlusconi. He is our future, I mean. Because, it will not be the old-style authoritarianism, You awaken one morning, the Prime Minister or the Queen or Prince Charles, I don't want to go into these details, tells you, sorry, fellow citizens, but because of blah, blah, civil rights are suspended. No, all these small personal pleasures will be kept, You can, as I put it, I think I put it in my book, I like this tasteless detail, If you prefer, you can make love on a hot radiator, you can have, if you are a woman, sorry, that's my style, a cat licked your sex organs. All this remains, all these freedoms, and the regime doesn't appear as authoritarian, but almost as a kind of a comical regime, but nonetheless, beneath it, the authoritarian structure is here. Mao said in 1950 now, capitalism is approaching the absolutely most rotten, lowest state. It's a little bit like, in the United States or in Starbucks here. Nothing is small. The smallest coffee is tall, grande, or what. It's like capitalism is rotten, more rotten, hyper rotten, and the problem is, of course, what? The more it is rotten, well, almost I'm tempted to say, the better it functions. In a decade or two, we will have to think about large migrations of the population. Again, nothing new in history, but in the old times it was done in a chaotic way through wars, millions died, and so on. Today, we cannot afford this, not because of any human considerations, but because, weapons of mass destruction and so on, it's suicidal. So again, how we will get ready for this? Who will decide? We will have a world parliament or what? We don't even think about it. All I'm saying is that a space for decisions is opening up, which cannot be constrained to nation states or even to their interaction. I don't trust nation states here. I'm just saying that this is where I see the space for what I call coming communism. If there is a lesson of capitalism, people are totally wrong to think, already Rousseau was right here, that capitalism is a matter of egotism. No, it's a matter of envy. A good capitalist, and I know because this is the national identity of us Slovenes, to be envious. Like a Slovene proverb is, I am God and come to you and tells you, I will do to you whatever you want or give you, but I mind you, I will give or do your neighbor twice as much. What's the Slovene answer immediately? Take one of my eyes. Because, the neighbor, that's capitalism, That's capitalism is envy. Capitalism is not egotism. Don't accept the frame the way it is proposed to us today as a final one. Just start thinking about more radical changes, about how maybe things cannot go on indefinitely the way they are. And why now, you can of course ask me, why do I call this communism? Because, first, I am well aware that the word communism, like, to put it gently, the understatement of the year, triggers certain not too welcome reactions in majority. But I like to keep it for two reasons at least. First, because in this way, nonetheless, one should signal to the people that we are not talking rubbish in the sense of just some small aesthetic changes, in the sense of, yes, we have to change our way of life, this general ecological, holistic way or whatever. We are talking about real traumatic changes. I want to emphasize this, that I'm not bringing in a softened way the good old news in the standard communist way, you know, don't care, history is on our side. No, maybe it will not end well. Even, you know, or the metaphor I like to use, I'm not saying no panic, we have problems, but we see the light at the end of the tunnel. Coming from Eastern Europe with our sarcastic humor, I'll say, of course there is light at the end of the tunnel, because it's another train approaching us from there.